powerlifting disasters. 5 of the worst mistakes you can make as a powerlifter. And here's one of them. What's up guys, Matt Dashu here from Blue Star Nutraceuticals, and today we're talking about the worst mistakes that you can possibly make in powerlifting. All right guys, so first mistake right off the hop, since I'm on the bike, we're gonna talk about this, is to not do a warm-up. Now listen, warm-ups are not a sexy part of a workout. I know this, I've been working out for 26 years. I never used to enjoy warm-ups, never used to do them. But one of the things warm-ups are critical for is making sure that you can perform at your best and making sure you minimize injury. All right, so essentially what we're trying to do with a warm-up is to restore length tension relationships in all of the joints between agonist and antagonist muscle groups. Lots of detail there, but essentially what we're doing is we're making sure that the joints function properly and we're restoring that length tension relationships, which makes sure that all muscle groups involved will be able to produce the maximum amount of power. The biggest mistake you guys can make at the start of your workout is to ignore the warm-ups. I know it's not fun, I know it's not sexy, but once you get those dialed in, you're gonna be a lot stronger, you're gonna be a lot healthier for it. So don't forget the warm-ups. All right guys, one of the worst mistakes you can make, point number 2, is not lifting with proper form. Guys, again, the powerlifting community is awesome. These guys are, masters of their craft. They've been working on their movements for a long time. So you can always ask people for help if you see people that are doing the movements properly and you're not sure. Or you can ask us in the comment section. Again, I've been lifting now for 26 years. I got a ton of experience. I've got lots of connections, and I'm always happy to answer your questions for you. The other thing is we've got lots of great videos on this channel. I just made a video the other day about going over how to do these powerlifting movements. So keep your eyes peeled. And if you have any questions, again, ask in the comment section. But tap into our channel, guys. That's what it's here for. But you want to make sure that you're putting the effort into doing these lifts properly. If you're not doing them properly, not only are you increasing the chance of hurting yourself, guys, but really you're just going to not look as cool as you think you're going to look, and you're going to make sure that you can't lift as much weight as you can. So in the warm-up part, I talked about length tension relationships. There's a reason why proper form is important. You can be strong as hell, but if you don't do the movement properly, you will never be able to maximize your capacity to lift the most amount of weight. What proper form does is it maximizes the output of your muscle by getting that length tension relationship I was talking about lined up. It's going to make sure your joints stay centrated, and you're going to take advantage of physics instead of physics taking advantage of you. And trust me, you do not want physics to take advantage of you. So don't forget, proper form is super important. Focus on that first. Get lots of volume work in with proper form before you start ego lifting and lifting heavy and doing things all wrong. You don't want to do that. All right guys, tell me what's wrong with this picture. You probably nailed it. There's way too much weight on this bar. One of the important things you want to make sure you don't do when you're powerlifting is jumping into lifting too much weight too fast, okay? In all honesty, my best bench ever is 425. There's about 550 on this bar. I want to make sure, guys, that when I'm powerlifting, I'm doing my best to make sure that I'm pushing weights that I'm able to move with good form. We talked about that on the last point. But if you start lifting too heavy too fast, it's going to dramatically increase the chance that you're going to hurt yourself. You won't be able to do the movements properly anyways. And the more frequently you do a movement improperly, the more likely you are to do it improperly. So make sure you use weights that you can manage. Don't be like that loser at the start of the video that walked right in and tried to bang out a rep of this without a warm-up. Make sure that you're doing what you're capable of and don't push yourself too far too fast. Build up to those higher levels of strength by using weights that you can manage. All right guys, point number 4, the fourth disaster that you can do if you're a powerlifter is not taking adequate rest time. So there's micro and there's macro. So the micro would be rest time in between sets. So if you guys are lifting heavy sets, you want to make sure you're taking enough rest time to fully recover so that you can do proper form while you're doing those movements. How long are we talking about? If you guys are doing heavier sets, like anything 6 reps or less, I would say upwards of 3 to 5 minutes. Anything longer than that, you could probably stick to the 90-second to 2-minute range, or higher rep ranges. But if you're doing 1 rep maxes, you take anywhere, sometimes up to, I've taken 7 minutes after a set before. If you take too much time, it's not gonna work. Not enough time is not that good. You won't be able to have maximum output. Now, we're also gonna talk about rest in terms of the macro. So how much sleep do we need? How much recovery do we need before and between workouts? Rest is critically important for building strength. If you do not rest enough, you might actually get weaker in between workouts instead of stronger, okay? It is very easy to overtrain when you're doing powerlifting style workouts because you're affecting your central nervous system. Your central nervous system will recover the most when you're sleeping. So you guys wanna make sure you're getting 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep every night, good quality sleep. I mean, you wanna make sure you're turning your devices off at the end of the evening, an hour before you go to bed. If you're smart, you'll take a serving of GH Peak about an hour before you go to bed. You'll sleep like a baby, you'll wake up feeling like $1 million. You also wanna make sure you're taking rest days. So if you did a heavy deadlifting day, you might wanna wait a day or two before doing a heavy squats day. It's pretty much common sense, but I want you to listen to your body here. And a cool little trick that I learned is you could pick up one of those things called a dynamometer, basically measures grip strength. Grip strength is a very good way of checking your central nervous system capacity. So it should be consistent. If you wake up in the morning, check your grip strength, it's 150 pounds per square inch. After a deadlift day, you check it, it's 130 pounds per square inch. You know that your central nervous system hasn't recovered. That's just a little trick. Again, rest is so important, sleep is so important that you need to make sure you're getting tons of it, okay? Now, my favorite supplement in the world for helping with sleep is GH Peak. If you haven't heard me talk about it yet, you're not paying attention, so I'm gonna go into some more details again. GH Peak is gonna help increase your HGH production up to 434% while you're sleeping. That means basically you're working and sleeping at the same time, which, hey, I'm a busy guy. I love that, okay? So make sure that you're getting that. In fact, go out and buy yourself 10 bottles right now. And if you know what's good for you, you know what's good for your recovery, that's exactly what you'll do. All right, guys. Another one of the massive mistakes you can make is neglecting active recovery, okay? So we talked about rest, but we didn't talk about active recovery. So if you wonder what the hell I'm doing right now, some animal flow type stuff, some ground-based work, some of this stuff is going to be amazing for you in terms of recovery, because what it does is it facilitates and speeds up recovery by increasing blood flow, allows you to continue to mobilize the joints, but you're not putting tons of pressure on your body by continuing to bludgeon it with heavy weights on a regular basis. Active recovery days have been critically important to me, especially as I'm getting older, to make sure I maintain mobility, maintain my mood, keep it elevated, all of that fun stuff, and still be able to maintain high levels of power output during my powerlifting workouts. One of the biggest mistakes you could possibly make is to skip active recovery, so don't do it. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for today's video. So you probably noticed there's a few different things here, a few different topics, but essentially these aren't just things that are going to potentially hurt you. They're also things that are going to potentially cause you a lot of setbacks in your training. So I want you to keep in mind that sometimes making big mistakes is not just about making yourself look bad. A lot of times it's about hampering your progress, slowing yourself down, taking, 10 years to do something that you should have accomplished in 2 years. And take it from some guy who's done exactly that a lot of these things can cause those exact problems. Rest is super important, guys. I mean, I shouldn't need to tell you guys this, but you're gonna hear me hammer it time and time again. Rest is super important, recovery is super important. You don't wanna skip these things. They seem elementary, but a lot of times it's the elementary stuff that makes the biggest difference. Form, again, critically important. If you're not doing the movement right, then why the hell are you even doing it at all? You wanna make sure that you cut down the weights at first so that you can manage being able to do the exercises properly, okay? And most importantly, warming up and cooling down. Guys, as a powerlifter, you will never get good at your craft if you're going in cold, okay? Just like a baseball player wouldn't go in their sport cold, they wouldn't walk in from their vehicle and try to play like a world-class athlete. Hockey player wouldn't do that. Powerlifters don't do that either, so you need to make sure that you're not doing that. Anyways, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, hit like and subscribe. If you have any other questions, please ask them in the comment section below. Remember, we're not just a YouTube channel, we also make award-winning supplements. I can't hammer that home enough, because if you're powerlifting, guys, you're gonna need this stuff. Increase your recovery, increase your testosterone production, protein supplements, anything that you guys need, we got it. All right, so until next time, guys, train hard and stay strong.